Yeah. Welcome. All right, I'm excited to get to talk to you guys about this one today. I woke up last, I don't know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I had in my mind this impression that I needed to talk about the law of consecration. And I was going to do a live about it that day, and I got distracted working on something else, and things slipped away from me, and I never hopped on and did it. So this is going to be take 2 at this attempt at this topic, because I do feel like it's actually a really important one and something that you may not have ever thought about in this context before. We tend to look at the law of consecration as the law of sacrifice, really, right? That we're supposed to be willing to sacrifice anything and all that we have for the good and betterment of others. We kind of view it in this perspective of, we're supposed, when it was actively practiced in the early days of the church, right? That anything you had that you didn't need or that somebody else needed more than you should be willing to give up and give to them, right? To me, this comes at it from a very much a scarcity lack mindset, right? And attempts to be an abundant one, right? This idea that supposedly when we're living the law of consecration, we all have our needs met, everyone is taken care of, it's a beautiful place to be, right? And yet in practice, it is almost always experienced as more of the haves and have-nots, right? And this sort of obligation that comes up rather than this joyful experience that it's supposedly meant to be, right? And so when we're thinking about the law of consecration, I actually like to think about it a lot more in terms of the law of co-creation. Co-creation puts a language on it that to me has a healthier connotation and helps me understand it from an abundant perspective, that viewpoint where it really does get to be this positive thing and not this detrimental taking and redistributing type of mentality, right? So when I think about it in terms of the law of co-creation, what I see it as is me entering into a relationship with God and saying, hey, I want to be a part of your work. I know you have so many different avenues, so many different channels in which you can accomplish the things that you want to get done. I want to be one of those. I want to be an avenue, a person that you can utilize when you need it, right? And I've had a couple of experiences where I have set the intention that that's what I want to experience and waited to see what opportunities might come up. And it's when I describe it like that, it sounds like, okay, I prayed for it. And it's like, okay, God, I want you to be able to use me for your purposes. And then I like, okay, let's see what happens. And we just wait. And then all of a sudden this thing happens. It's not really how I'm experiencing it, though that's the way it comes across when you're describing it, right? When I'm experiencing it, it's more of just like an inner thought or idea that I've had, and it's very emotionally attached, right? It's something I genuinely want, a deep longing and desire, which when I teach in depth on co-creation with God, we always start out with desire. Desire is a key piece of it. To me, there's a really important reason why Alma says the first step is desire. It's not just like well, if you can't muster faith, then settle for desire. No, it starts with desire. But we're not going to go in depth on that right now. If you want to know more about that, send me a DM and we can talk about working together, because that's part of what I do in my different programs and coaching. But I had this desire of like, I want to be able to serve people in their lives when they need me. I want to be able to help show up for the one. I want God to be able to say, hey, there's this person and they're struggling and they're not sure if I'm real, if I'm here. I'm saying God, right? This person doesn't know if God's real, if God exists, right? If they love them, if God cares about them, right? What does that look like? And I want to be able to say, I'll help remind them, right? I want to be somebody who could show up and say, look, God cared enough about you, just you. And here's how much he cared. And I had a really cool experience getting to do this about a month or so ago. I was working on rebranding in my business, getting ready to launch my new programs, like a lot of stuff was happening. And I got an email one day about a photo shoot opportunity to go and do some branding and content created photos. I'd worked with this group before. I loved the things that I got. I was like, oh, this could be really fun. Like I hadn't even thought about doing new photos for my rebrand and stuff, but that'd be a great thing to have. And so I kind of wanted to do it, but I sort of was like, there's other things I'm working on. It's not super important. I still have some good photos. I don't know that I need to, but it kept like festering in me and kept coming up of like, you need to do this. You need to do this. So, but I kept ignoring it, right? I was not taking action on this inspiration I was receiving, but it kept coming so much so that I kept asking, is there still a spot open? Is there still a spot open? Like up until like the day before even. And there was this one spot that just kept being hold and wasn't getting filled. And I was like, oh, that spot is my spot. I'm supposed to be there. And I was like, I don't really have the cash flow right now to be able to spend money on this. Like we're the joys of being self-employed, right? Your cash flow isn't always consistent. And so I was like, how can I make this happen? And I was trying to talk with my husband and I knew I'd need a babysitter and it was going to be like an hour away. It wasn't close by. So I was going to be spending 2 hours at the photo shoot plus 2 hours driving, which meant I needed to find somebody who would be able to watch my kids for 4 hours. And like, I'd have to get dressed and bring on my stuff. And like, it was turning into this big thing. But that feeling would not go away. You need to be at this photo shoot. And so I was like, fine, maybe it is really important that I have these nice looking photos. So I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I need $150. I can pay you back in like a week or two. Can I borrow it for this photo shoot? Can you watch my kids? And she was like, you know what? It's clearly very important to you. Sure. Here's the money. I'll watch your kids. I drive up, have a great time driving. It's lots of fun. I find the place. I'm bringing in my different outfits and props and things. And I get there and I'm honestly a little disappointed. I'm like, this is not as good of a location as it was in the past. And I'm like struggling to get my photos. And I feel like they're just not the same quality and caliber as they were before. Go through this whole 2-hour process. I still have fun. I still get some great photos out of it. But I'm like, really, why was the impression so strong? I feel like I'm not getting as much out of this as I meant to. And then there's a girl at the end and I saw her at the very beginning. We started talking to each other a little bit. We both set up our stuff together and it was just kind of polite conversation. And then towards the end, I just felt really pulled towards her again. And I found out she teaches hula dancing. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And I was thinking about this retreat and some other things that I'm a part of right now. And I was like, oh, I need a hula dancer. Like that would be so much fun. I'd love to partner with her, right? Because that's another part of these photo shoot events is a bunch of different people come together with your businesses and it's a chance to network and connect with each other. And I was like, I'm going to connect with her. Maybe that's why I was meant to be here. And so we start talking some more. And towards the end, the conversation totally shifts. And we're talking about Heavenly Mother. And all of a sudden, I'm inviting her to share a story and talk with me. And we connect on a level and in a way that it was like I had known her for years. Like we were best friends and we had talked to each other for a total of this 10-minute conversation. And in that moment, that was the moment I realized, oh, that's why I was supposed to come on this photo shoot. And I told her that. I was like, you have to hear this crazy story about how I ended up here at this photo shoot. And I ended up here, I feel so strongly, just so I could have this conversation with you, just so you could know you are not alone. There are other people who are thinking and feeling this. There are other people who are struggling, who don't know how to navigate it. And here's this community. I'm a friend. I will be here with you. I'll point you to other women. There's so many things available for you. That is how aware God is of you and what you need in your life. He said, I'm going to send somebody specifically for you. It was one of the most humbling opportunities to get to be a part of that experience, to show up for somebody and to say, this is how much God cares about you. This is how much they are intimately aware of all you're going through, all the experiences that are happening, enough that they will pester this other person who has an ability to show up and be there for you, right? To me, that's what the law of consecration is all about, or the law of co-creation, right? It's saying, I will covenant with you, God, that if you need somebody to get your work done, somebody to go help another, you can call on me. You can trust me that I will listen to that. Might take me a little while. I'm hoping to get better at that, right? But that I will show up. I want to be one of those cooperative components for you in other people's lives, in helping them see and feel just how much you love and care about them. Because I've had people who have been that for me. I would not be here today without them. And that to me is the whole purpose of our garments. Is I've been thinking about them a lot more lately as like my scrubs when I'm on call, right? When I'm wearing them, and it's saying I'm endowed with this priesthood power, which means I will utilize it as needed in order to go and do the work that I feel called to do, right? We all have individual work, things, goals, desires that we want to get done in our lives, right? And then God has a wonderful partnership. They want to be in relationship with us and helping us accomplish those purposes, those goals and desires. But there is a difference between when you're putting your dreams and desires first and when you're entering into a deeper relationship with God and saying, I want to be a part of your work. It is inevitable that when you enter into that partnership, your purpose will become clear. You will be able to have the stamina, the focus, the courage, the strength to be able to do it. When you're doing it on your own, you can do some pretty crazy, amazing things. But when you enter into this deeper level of relationship and say, I'm showing up not just for me, I'm showing up for you. And what do you want me to do? Things shift. I was taught this lesson on a whole new level this morning. I have been working on this program that is starting tonight for a month or more now. And I've been selling it and connecting with people and getting people into it. And the me part of my purpose is like, it's good. I've got a good number of people in there. I feel like it's going to be a good experience. Like I'm ready to start. I'm done talking about the program, right? But I had so much resistance around that idea. It was like, no, you're supposed to still be talking about the program. There are more people who are supposed to be in this program that are not in it. And I was so irritated with that until this morning when I got the clarity. And it was like God was saying to me, Emily, which path do you want to be on? Your purpose or my purpose? Your purpose, that's fine. Go ahead, close the class. Don't talk about it anymore. Have this many people. It will be a wonderful experience. I'm going to help you. You're going to have a great time with these ladies. Or do you want to have more of those Photoshop opportunities? Do you want to be able to find those people who could add to this group, who could connect with it, who need it, who are looking for it? And if you do, I need you to hop on today. I need you to be willing to do another live. I need you to continue to speak to them because they're not going to be able to find you. They're not going to be able to get into the group. They're not going to be able to have the experience that could help them if you don't show up. And it was a serious moment where I had to be like, which focus am I in today, right? That's the part of it that is the sacrificing all of who you are, sacrificing everything that you have, right? It's not about diminishing the worth of who you are, getting rid of who you are. It's actually this pulling forward, right? This stepping out of, this is the limited view and place that I want to be, and I want to go to new heights and new experiences and new places, right? That's what God is always wanting to do when we are in relationship with Him. They are always wanting to take us more, expand, build upon. They are never taking away. I know it feels that way. I know it appears that way. I know we experience it that way. It's a whole nother conversation, but I promise you, it is always expansive. It is always yes and more. It is never this or that, right? It was, yes, you and your program and the work that you're doing now, or this and more, right? And the thing I had to let go of was the trust in myself, was in the solo nature of this, and be willing to enter into that relationship connection, right? That's what I want. That's where I have found the greatest amount of joy, the greatest amount of strength, the greatest amount of wonderment and magic, and just beautiful experiences that just show up in my life when I am in this space. How do you want to use me today? How can that be done? Sometimes that's intentional. Sometimes it's accidental, right? But it is simply a willingness to be there, to show up for others, right? That's what this is all about. To me, that's what the law of consecration is saying, yeah, I have these goals, these dreams, this work, these things that I do, but I want to enter into a relationship and I'm offering everything that I have here for you to utilize it. Direct me, show me, where do you want to use it to better the lives of others? And the beautiful thing I have learned from that is you never lose out when you are in that space. And it is a genuine place of giving and of joy and of trust, not out of obligation, lack, scarcity, any of that, right? That messes up the energy of the whole situation. This is when you find purpose and magic, right? So I'm showing up. I'm doing my part. I'm doing this live and I am holding space for this whole next week that we're going to call in those remaining 5 girls, women who are supposed to be in this program. You might not fully recognize it as you, but inside there will be something that is pulling you towards it, that is urging you in. There is something holding you back. That is that old version of you, right? In order to enter into a program like this, to step into a deeper level of relationship, to grow in your new potential and ability, you're going to go through that energy clash stage, right? You're going to experience that, and you have to be willing to in order to hit that rise and say yes to new levels and growth and expansion. So that thing inside you that is pulling you, that is saying, yes, I don't know how, but this is supposed to happen. I'm supposed to be a part of this. Come, right? We're waiting for you. If you're one of those people, I will give you free access tonight. No obligation. You do not have to join the full program. You can come join us tonight, get a feel of what the program is like, feel it. Carly, I see you. I'm expecting a message from you. You raised your hand, so you better be sending me a DM. Anyone else listening? There's 5 of you out there I know who are supposed to be in this program. We will find a way to make it work. We'll find a way to make it happen. You can come tonight. I will also be leaving space open all the way up till next week for you to be able to register and sign up. So it's not too late. We're going to make this happen. And it's going to be the most amazing experience, because that's one of the reasons I do all of the things that I do, whether it's the group I did with the Sharing Heavenly Mother panel discussions, or the little one-off events that I do, or the seminars, any of them, right? The whole point is to create these environments where we get to practice being in relationship with one another, creating that co-creative experience with each other, where we learn, how do you show up and say, here's the fullness of me. I see the fullness of you. Here's what I'm offering. I'm sharing this. I don't just teach material and then you learn it and you go practice it. You are meant to be a part of this co-creative experience. You will have thoughts, you will have experiences, you will have ideas and questions that are going to shape and mold the experience for you and everyone else who's in it. And that's why I'm so passionate and diligent about making sure I find the right people who are supposed to be in each group. So if you're one of them, let's talk, because it's going to be a wonderful opportunity tonight and for the whole rest of the 12 weeks. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If you want to hear more about your purpose and the law of consecration, also send me a message. I would love to speak to you about that, because it's a beautiful place to be. And I know there's so many women out there who are feeling that pull, who are like, God wants me to be doing more, or I want to be doing more. I just don't know what that looks like. I don't know how to find that balance. That's what this program is all about, right? That's one of the things we're going to be helping you understand, is how to find that purpose, how to tap into it, how to live it, right? And also manage all of the other responsibilities and roles and things that are important to you. So have a wonderful rest of the day. Can't wait to be hearing from you, and hopefully be seeing some of you tonight. Take care. Oh, sorry, YouTube.